always change it.
Ready? I call the meeting to order at 6:30. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Thomas?
Here.
Commissioner Tenza?
Here.
Commissioner Nelson? Commissioner O'Shea Heidinger?
Here.
Commissioner Evans?
Here.
Mayor Ah? Vice Chair Gad?
Here. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And 40 gold medals.
Open it up to general public input, limited to 10 minutes, 3 minutes per speaker.
My name is Teddy Jack. I live on West North Street, down by the river. And I guess what I wanted to ask you is, what are the city's plans for the piece of property that was given to the city by the Gosney family? I see people moving around over there doing surveys or something. Is that you guys? You got any plans for it?
I'm not aware of any.
Okay, and
Maybe Nicole can answer that.
A little bit, but my microphone doesn't work, so I'm going to share with you. No, you're good. So I know the town, we do have environmental that's still happening because of the Twin Bridges area. So if there was any survey work, anybody out there, it would have been tied to that. More recently, as of, you're talking about the property with the barn on it, the old barn. So that property, right now, the town doesn't have any big plans for that because our park's kind of staying on the east side of the river. But I think there's opportunity to look at that in the future. But right now, if there's any survey work, they're just doing that because of the bridges.
yeah, I live kind of on the opposite side of the river, and I've seen people moving around in there. And I was just curious as to what they're doing. I won't take no more of your time. I had a few other little questions, but I'll take it up with the town board. I'm glad to see somebody's working for FCI. I built it, I worked with them on the high school,
Yes, sir.
the jailhouse, and if you have any trouble with your superintendent, I'll come by and hit him with a broom.
I got a few of those we might need some help with.
I can put him in line.
And I don't know,
Thank
Katie,
you.
if you wanted to add anything to Teddy's question. You might know more than I do.
I don't necessarily know what property he's talking about. If it's the property with the barns on it, we don't have any plans for that. It's wetlands.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Batteries. Thanks.
Any other general public input? Okay, planning commissioners disclose conflicts of interest.
None.
None.
Seeing none. Entertain a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
I make a motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Commissioner Thomas?
Yes.
Commissioner Tenza?
Yes.
Commissioner Nelson?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Shea Heidinger?
Yes.
Commissioner Evans?
Yes.
Vice Chair Gad?
Yes. Moving to public hearing agenda, item 2A, 2024-1983 South Mesa vacation rental.
Yes, so this is a request from Terry Ward. He owns a property, 83 South Mesa Avenue. It's currently zoned a single family, and he's requesting to turn it into a vacation rental. It does meet our criteria. Right now, this would be the 8th vacation rental in town. Right now, we allow up to 30. And there's no other vacation rental within 500 feet of this proposed vacation rental location. They do need to meet the criteria of the vacation rental section 410 of the land use code. And then also it's a use by review, so it needs to meet section 311 of the land use code. There are certain criteria in that section that town staff did spell out. But it's talking about if there's any adverse effects. This being the only one in the neighborhood, it shouldn't be an impact to the neighborhood. Vacation rentals usually don't have significant air and water pollution. The existing residence is already landscaped, so it's not new construction. And it'll remain in character with the single-family properties in the neighborhood. It will not look like a hotel. I mean, it's just one unit. So it'll still, the character of the building will remain consistent with the rest of the neighborhood. And then staff doesn't see any adverse effects on the community or detrimental effects to the health and safety of the community for this vacation rental. I do know the applicant is present. And then I also have some possible motions for the Planning Commission, but I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have of staff right now before the applicant speaks. I don't know, Terry, if you wanted to add anything to that, it's up to you.
No, I just appreciate your consideration on what we're doing. We had a house fire there last year. The house got remodeled, and we had some full-time tenants in there before. They obviously left and rented somewhere else. We redid the house, and we just decided to try this instead of year-to-year rentals. So that's all I have. I appreciate any
I
consideration.
have a question.
Yes, sir.
So, do you live in town?
I live in Durango,
Oh,
Elmore's Corner.
okay, all right.
That's a little better.
Okay, yeah, okay. So, that's all I want to know.
Yeah. Anything else?
I guess why'd you make the decision to go to a vacation rental versus a long-term rental?
This isn't the only rental that we have, and we've had some problems in the past with long-term tenants. So we thought we'd give this a shot.
Okay.
Damage to the house, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, understand,
Which
sir.
we're still dealing with.
Sure.
So,
Well, and with short-term rentals, you keep it up really nice usually.
well, we'll be in there
Yeah,
a couple
constantly.
times a week. And another good thing is if there is damage done, it's handled immediately
Exactly.
through whatever company you're going through, Airbnb, Verbo,
Yeah.
whatever. So we wanted to give this a try. So,
All right.
Well, you have to be able to keep in the market, so I understand exactly what you're saying.
okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Think we have anybody else on Zoom, so move on to item 2B, 2024-22, Land Use Code, Section 410 and Section 7-27 amendments.
Yeah, so we have two amendments, proposed amendments in front of you tonight. The first one is on the vacation rentals. The board has asked staff to look at maybe reducing our total number. Just we've had so many come through this summer. They also want to make sure we're preserving our housing stock in the community. And then they had the caveat that if we fill up 15 really fast and they want to add more, then they can come back and amend that to add maybe 20 or 25. And so, but they wanted to take a step back and look at reducing that just again to keep our long-term housing stock. And so the proposal is just to go from 30 to 15. Like I said, right now we have one new proposal one tonight and then 7 that have been approved. 3 of those were approved in the last couple months in front of the Planning Commission. And so staff is forwarding this to the Planning Commission, and then ultimately you would make a recommendation to the Board of Trustees. And like I said, it's in the code. It's a living code, so if you ever feel or the board ever feels that you want to change that, you can always go back and change that. So that's the first one. And then the second one is the sign. As you all know, we had Porky's requesting a sign variance recently to keep the pole sign along the highway corridor. Our sign code was changed in 2019, and it reduced all signs, commercial signs, to a maximum of 10 feet in height. But when you actually go out there and look at the corridor, all the other businesses have the pole signs, and if you reduce it to 10 feet in height in that corridor, it's getting below the street elevation because the highway is raised in that area. And so Planning Commission requested that we look at doing a variance to the sign code, and the Board of Trustees agreed. And so the way this is written is it had to really create a new section for freestanding signs within the Highway 160 corridor and along the Highway 160 frontage road. And so looking at, the board also asked staff to look at other communities in our region along the highway corridor just to see what their sign codes allow. And so staff did review Cortez, Mancos, Durango, and Pagosa Springs sign codes. And, Cortez goes up to 25 feet. Mancos, Durango, and Pagosa are up to 20 feet along their highway corridors. And then Pagosa has a section that's in their downtown area that drops it to 15. But otherwise, the rest of their corridor allows for 20. So 20 seemed like a good, reasonable number, consistent with Durango and Pagosa on both sides of the town of Bayfield. So staff's proposing that we allow pole signs to remain at 20 feet in height and along that highway corridor. Happy to answer any questions you have of either one of those code amendments.
Would the signage code amendment affect, I'm trying to think of any other businesses in town that aren't along that highway corridor, that they move out, somebody else moves into that space?
So we did have a pole sign at the new State Farm office that they remodeled, but they came into compliance, so they didn't ask for variances. They just brought their sign into compliance there. I'm trying to think. There might be some along County Road 501, but they might be in the county, because I'm thinking, I can't remember what the sign is for the pharmacy, but I think they're in the county because they're on the west side of County Road 501. So I can't think of any more. I can't even remember what the storage units, if they have anything.
This is little.
I think it's
The old
lower.
ones in
Yeah,
front of
but
the-
otherwise I can't think of any more tall ones. Momentum's on the building. I think, I would say TBK Bank might be pushing it, but theirs is a monument, so it might be 10 or 12 feet.
Do we have any idea what Tractor Supply will end up with?
They're gonna come in with the 10-foot maximum. New construction really, they're building a new sign, they can meet that code. And along that road, you don't need a tall pole sign, because you're really at the vehicle height. You're not gonna be looking way up here when you're driving past. Whereas in the highway, people are looking for taller signs as they're trying to exit the highway. So, I honestly, I can't think of any others that it would really impact. Maybe TBK, but they can also always, because they do have a monument sign, if it's 12 feet, they can come and ask to keep it if they ever change the bank again or the logo. Yeah, I can't think of
I
any
just didn't
others.
want to
Yeah, no,
limit us to the 160 corridor if we've got businesses elsewhere that, if they were to change
Yeah.
hands in the future, we're not coming
Yeah,
back for more variances.
I'd have to drive back around and refresh my memory on all the signs.
Okay.
But
I-
again,
I
I mean, I
can't
think
think of
some
any
of
either,
those
so.
other streets, we might want to see them though have, again, more lower scale signs because drivers are not really looking up that high when they're in their vehicles. So they're going to get more visibility when they're at that lower level anyway, where people can see them from their windows.
Sure.
So it's just it's different than going down the highway.
Any other discussions on those?
Nope.
Moving on, action agenda item 3A, approval of July 9th, 2024 minutes.
I make a motion, we approve July 9th, 2024 minutes.
I second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Tenza,
Yes.
Commissioner Nelson,
Yes?
Commissioner O'Shea Heidinger,
Yes.
Commissioner Evans,
Yes.
Vice Chair Gad.
Yes.
Thank you.
Item 3B, 2024-1983 South Mesa Vacation Rental.
I make a motion, we approve 2024-1983 South Mesa Vacation Rental.
A second.
Do we need to add with the findings and conditions or anything on that?
I didn't see any.
Okay. Roll call?
Commissioner Thomas?
Yes.
Commissioner Tenza?
Yes.
Commissioner Nelson?
Yes?
Commissioner O'Shea Heidinger?
Yes.
Commissioner Evans?
Yes.
Vice Chair Gad?
Yes.
And there were a finding and 2 conditions, so, but, I'll just reach out to the applicant and give you next steps in that process. Yep. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Item 3C, 2024-22 Land Use Code, Section 410 and Section 7-27 amendments.
I make a motion, we approve 2024-22 Land Use Code Section 4-10 and Section 7-27 amendments.
That one just has 1 finding.
What does it say with the finding that we have on there, that you have in the notes?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Thomas?
Yes.
Commissioner Tenza?
Yes.
Commissioner Nelson?
Yes?
Commissioner O'Shea Heidinger?
Yes.
Commissioner Evans?
Yes.
Vice Chair Gad?
Yes.
I can't get it.
Item 3D, Election of Planning Commission Chair and Vice Chair. We pretty much have a full house tonight, so probably ought to get it done.
Okay.
Is anybody volunteering?
You are.
Pam?
I'd be happy to be the vice chair.
I make a motion, we keep you on.
Okay.
And you want to include Jim as the vice chair then?
Yes.
And include Jim as the vice chair. Please.
We have a second.
Actually, can we have Jason as the vice chair?
So the issue I'm going to be running into is I'm in the process of, I'm taking a night class to prep for my professional engineering license over probably the next 6 to 8 months. And so my attendance may be limited. So I don't want to step into that role at this time because I need to.
I'll ask for Chris to be vice chair. Good. Look. So I make a motion that we have these 2 as chair and co-chair. How's that? I need a second.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Thomas?
Yes.
Commissioner Tenza?
Yes.
Commissioner Nelson?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Shea Heidinger?
Yes.
Commissioner Evans?
Yes.
Vice Chair Gad?
Yes,
Boom.
I guess.
All right.
Item 4A, August 20th, 2024 is the next Board of Trustees meeting. 4B, September 10th, 2024 is the next Planning Commission meeting. 4C, entertain a motion to adjourn.
Well, I have something I wanted to add.
Okay.
I wanted to read this something. It's been, to everyone, it's been my honor to serve the town of Bayfield as member of Planning Commission for many years. We have all seen many changes in the town during that time, and I am proud to have served the town in that capacity. However, I am planning to spend more time traveling, and my absence from home for extended periods will not allow me to do justice to the position as we've seen this last year. And I am therefore submitting this as my resignation from the Planning Commission effective September 1st, 2024. I will miss working with the very able town staff and other commission members on important development issues in Bayfield, but I am certain that it is time to step aside and allow other interested residents of the town to participate in the planning process. Thanks again, and I wish all of you the best. More travel? Well, yeah. My husband's retired now. And I have a son moving to Spain tomorrow. Wow. So I'm out of here.
Okay.
Well, thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Tish. It's been great working with you.
It's been a few years.
Yeah.
We don't need to do anything with that, do we?
Nope, we'll advertise, and the process would be, any applications we get, we'll bring to the planning commission for a recommendation to the board, so we'll get that out there.
And I'll get it in the newsletter as well.
Sounds good, thanks, Katie.
And I have another separate question. In December, do we typically have a planning commission meeting in December?
It depends on when it falls. We have in the last year, I believe.
We've always had one
Yeah.
set up.
Well, I mean, it depends
And
if
then it
there's anything
changes.
on the agenda.
Right,
Yeah.
that's
As
true
we-
too.
So that's, we've had a
It's
couple.
always been in our calendar, and then some things change, but,
Okay,
Yeah,
trying to plan travel.
yeah.
well, me too.
Well, if you give us, I'll say if you give us plenty of notice, we'll just make sure we have a quorum. So I mean, you're allowed to miss a meet,
Zoom
an
it in.
excused, yeah, you're allowed to have an excused absence too. So
I do think we canceled it last year.
yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah, in December, I don't think we had one because I don't think we had anything on
Yeah,
the
if-
agenda.
yeah. Usually
didn't
that's a
have it.
slow time anyway. People aren't getting things into us.
And a lot of times there's the Christmas thing too, so sometimes that works.
Yeah.
I move we adjourn.
A second.
Second.
Okay, thank you.
Object.
You object?
Object.
What else you got?
No.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
You guys.